Over the last few days, we have been reflecting quite intensely on the mysteries of the salvation of Jesus Christ and what that salvation really means. We've thought about Jesus on Holy Thursday, at the Last Supper, Jesus at the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus on his journey, on his way towards his cross, Jesus at his death, Jesus in the tomb, and now Jesus at the resurrection. In one sense, these stories, you could say they happened a long time ago. What do they really mean for us today? Well, I've been thinking about this. Maybe you might have been thinking about this as well. Our world needs salvation. Our world needs renewal. We just look around about what's happened over the last 12 months, and there's been a lot of hurt that's happened in our world because of COVID. Our world needs salvation. The human condition, we are so fragile that such a tiny little thing, we can't even see it, can have such impact upon every single person's life right across our entire globe. Over the last few months, we've been talking about the vaccine quite a lot within society. There's been all sorts of rollouts of the vaccine, and some think that the vaccine's going to be this shot in the arm that's going to bring us great strength and it'll be able to pull us through. And it might do that, perhaps until the next strain or the next pandemic. But on Holy Thursday, Jesus gave us a food, gave us a nourishment. You could even say perhaps he gave us a vaccine, something that we can receive, that we bring into our bodies, that brings healing and that gives us the strength, not just for this world, but for eternity. We call that the Eucharist. That's what we come and celebrate every time we come to Mass. We come to receive something into us. We receive God into us so that we are strong, not just for today, but for eternity. If only there could be such a vaccine that we could put into our arms or into our bodies that would keep us healthy forever. But that's what the Eucharist is. Jesus says, those who eat of my flesh, those who drink of my blood will live forever. Eternity. This is what Jesus offers. The message of the resurrection is one of absolute renewal of the human person. In recent times, we've had to cover our faces, cover our mouths with masks. We're not doing that here in Sydney anymore. But in other parts of the world where some of our people participate via our live stream, I know that they can't go out of their houses without putting on a mask. All of our faces should be an image of Jesus Christ. We shouldn't cover our mouths or our faces to protect others from a pandemic. Those things are important. But when people see us, they shouldn't see a mask. They should see the face of God. Jesus, on his way to Calvary, his face is cleaned by Veronica. We know the famous station. And Jesus leaves the image of his face on that. At Easter, we are called to be renewed so that our faces are not just the faces that we see around us. It's not just a mask that's covering us, but it should be the face of God. You look around our world, and over the last 12 months, our families have had to be sometimes distanced, separated. And that's still happening in some senses right now. But Jesus, at his death, moments before he dies, he wants to create a new family. He wants to bring people together, not just physically, but spiritually. Jesus looks down from the cross and he looks at Mary and he said, "Woman, this is your son." Looking then at John and says, "John, this is your mother." And we know that from that moment on, a new family was created, and we're part of that family. The message of the resurrection is that, yes, humanity is fragile. We all have the potential to die. But Jesus says, I'm going to give you something that will bring about eternity, eternal life for all. And the journey of that is what we've celebrated the last few days. Part of that is the Eucharist, our daily nourishment, our weekly nourishment. Part of that is knowing that we're called to be the face of God. Part of that is that we are part of a family, a united family right across the world. We're part of God's family. And Jesus on the day of the resurrection says, death is not the end of the story. Jesus shows through his death, but also through his resurrection, that we're called to believe. On the day of the resurrection, the women go to the tomb. And then Peter and John, they go to the tomb. Others go to the tomb and they don't find the body of Jesus. Sometimes there is this idea, we hear it in the scriptures, that some people maybe stole the body. However, what we're told about is that when they come to the place of the resurrection, they find the burial clothes. I know I'm a little bit icky around a dead body. We can all be a little bit like that too. However, I don't think people would steal a body and leave the wrappings for the body behind. That would seem a little unusual. Be a bit weird. And that's what we're told. They come in and they see the burial clothes. Then there's an angel. There is all this stuff going on. They suddenly realize Jesus is alive. He's not dead. Jesus has conquered death. And this is the resurrection. And this is what we're invited to participate in. And this is what we've been celebrating the last few days. The last 12 months has been hard. We've had to cover our faces. We've had to distance from our families and our loved ones. And some of us have already taken the vaccine, and others will take the vaccine in the near future. But we've given already, in the person of Jesus Christ, a path of renewal. Not just for the next 5 minutes or the next 12 months or until the next disaster that happens in our world. We're given a path of renewal that's for eternity. And that's what we celebrate when we come for Easter. We're celebrating that Christ has said, I've created each of us to be incredible, to be the image and the likeness of God. Let's be that image. Let's come to the Eucharist knowing that God is coming to live inside us. Let us go into the world today, tonight, tomorrow, and be the face of Jesus for others. To be the face of the joy of the resurrection, the living presence of God in our world. Happy Easter to you all. Thank you for coming tonight to receive Jesus, to believe in Jesus' death, but also in Jesus' resurrection, and to then to go into the world proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ.